What's up, YouTube? My name is Big Boy Snacks on TV, aka what kind of snacks you want, because I got plenty around. As you can tell by the title of the thumbnail, this is my WWE Raw review on highlights. So if you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys please full watch the video from all the way from the beginning all the way towards the end for watch time hours. Hit that like button, subscribe to my channel for more wrestling content that I do on the channel, and go check out my WWE SmackDown review on highlights. And that's all I got to say from here. Without further ado, let's get started on my WWE Raw review on highlights. Now, WWE Raw was a good show. Was a good show before Wretlepalozza for what it was, and that's all I gotta say. But the ending was just a rinse and repeat. Good show, but the ending itself was just a rinse and repeat. That's all I gotta say with the vision. That's all I gotta say. All right, it says WWE Raw was live from Springfield, Massachusetts, Mass Mutual Center. Commentary tonight with Joe Testore and Corey Graves. So those are the new commentaries for Monday Night Raw. We kick off and we see Penta walking backstage. The cameras cuts to Stephanie Mercury in the parking lot, and it cuts to El Grande Americano. The camera cuts to Seth Rollins, Braun Breaker, and Bronson Reed, and Becky Lynch entering the arena. We see clips of last week's show, Jey Uso spearing LA Knight. Live in the arena, Jey Uso and Jimmy Uso walk into the arena, and LA Knight pushes Jey Uso. In comes Adam Pearce and the WWE officials, who breaks it up and tells them both to meet him in his office. In the arena, a loud John Cena chant from the crowd and his music hits, and the fans begin to cheer. A loud John Cena chant from the crowd. He points to Alicia Taylor, who introduced him as the greatest of all time. The never seen 17 celebrating with each and every one of you tonight in Springfield one final time. The last real champion, John Cena. A loud chant from the crowd, and he says he gets to come back to Monday Night Raw in Springfield. A lot of noise, a lot of energy, a lot of young fans. He says some of these young fans may not know this, but he spent a whole lot of years playing football across the street over at Springfield College. Truth be told, he sees a lot of old fans confused. The reason they may not know this is because he was an offensive lineman. Quick job description. And you never get your name in the paper. You showed up and get your you-know-what kick. You showed up the next day and asked to get your you-know-what kick. Again, he said Springfield College prepared him for live in WWE. He has friends in the house tonight. Teammates, friends over 30 years. He has family. He has a niece who couldn't make it. He wishes her a happy birthday, which is facts by John Cena. I like that by John Cena. Wishing his niece a happy birthday. John Cena says he needs this tonight, and he thanks Alicia Taylor for the introduction. He says he started that introduction with one thing, and he held on to it because it evolves into a chance for the fans to show the world what they are all about, and for them to share a moment. And like he said, he needs that moment because he has a pretty tall hill to climb. A loud John Cena chant from the crowd says the word. The last real champion means a lot to him. At Wretlepalozza, Brock Lesnar wants to end the last real champion. He says Brock Lesnar is very intimidating. No doubt it's controversial. It's near invincible. The fans chant F you, Brock Lesnar. F you, Brock Lesnar. John Cena tells Netflix that the fans are chanting, talk to Lesnar. He says Lesnar make a target out of him. When he returned and challenged him to a match, he has had matches against Lesnar before. They are some of the toughest challenges he has ever faced. When Brock Lesnar comes back, knocks him out, and challenges him to a match, why doesn't he say no? The fans chant whoop his you-know-what. John Cena says if he says no, he can keep his health. But the only person who would be pissed off is Brock Lesnar. Some will say they saying no is smart. He's only has 6 appearances left. He says that saying no is safe and it's easy. The fans chant, "Thank you, Cena." He says, "That's right. There is why I say yes." John Cena says because he is the last real champion in all of his days here. He never fought one battle in the back. He fights them all in the ring in front of his most important audience in the world. To him, the last world champion is not about wearing a belt, being in the main event, being the face of the company. The last world champion leaves this place better than they found it. Does not take his ball and go home. He lives through hustle, loyalty, and respect. You give all that you have. John Cena asks if he is afraid of Brock Lesnar. Yes, he is. Could he fall? Yes, he could. He will back down. Will he give up? No. He says he will take the fight to the beast because that is what we do. He says he says for the first time on ESPN, the Beast against the last real champion. It is a final showdown of two generational titans. He tells Brock Lesnar he doesn't care how many suplexes are in his city. He found his city while taking his best shot for 20 years. He points to a sign that says John Cena shorts are stronger than his jeans. John Cena tells Brock Lesnar if he wants some, come to get some. John Cena music hits and he celebrates in the ring. This was a good segment by John Cena, man. But the rivalry between John Cena and Brock Lesnar, it just been all over the place. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is. But this was a good segment by John Cena. You know what I'm saying? I'm a huge fan of John Cena. That's all I gotta say. We cut backstage to see Adam Pearce with Jey Uso and LA Knight. They argue, and LA Knight says that he wants a piece of Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. Adam Pearce tells him he's not doing it. He's not doing it by himself. LA Knight says he has just the person and says Jimmy Uso. Jey Uso says that is his brother, and LA Knight says he is, but they make it happen tonight. LA Knight walks away, and Adam Pearce tells Jey Uso that he should talk to Jimmy Uso. John Cena with the ultimate babyface promo. The fans were into it. He got them all into it. He spoke about Brock Lesnar and got their match at Wretlepalozza over #WWE Raw. Alright, so we go to commercial break. So we get Lyra Kira versus Roxanne Perez. Very good match. That's all I gotta say. The bell rings. We are underway. Lyra Kira with a waist lock takedown. Roxanne Perez with an arm bar, and she rolls Lyra Kira up, but Lyra Kira kicks out. Lyra Kira to the ropes, and she rolls Roxanne Perez up, but Roxanne Perez kicks out. Roxanne Perez with a headlock, and she runs towards Lyra Kira, but Lyra Kira with a leg sweep. Lyra Kira, a crossbody by Lyra Kira as she goes for the cover, but Roxanne Perez kicks out. Lyra Kira to the ropes, but Raquel Rodriguez trips her. The referee sees it, and she ejects Raquel Rodriguez from ringside. Raquel Rodriguez gets on the ring apron to argue as Roxanne Perez rolls up Lyra Kira, but the referee is distracted. The referee turns around, but Lyra Kira kicks out. Roxanne Perez argues with the referee, and Lyra Kira throws Roxanne Perez onto the outside of the ring. A drop kick through the ropes, but Lyra Kira, she grabs Roxanne Perez and throws her back into the ring. Lyra Kira climbs the top rope, but Roxanne Perez trips Lyra Kira down. So we go to commercial break. Back from commercial break, Lyra Kira with an inverted gut wrench sit down powerbomb. She goes for the cover, but Roxanne Perez kicks out. Roxanne Perez gets on the ring apron, and Lyra Kira goes for a suplex, but Roxanne Perez with a right hand. Lyra Kira on the second rope, and Roxanne Perez gets on the top rope and lands a hurricanrana. Roxanne Perez with knee to the back. She goes for the cover, but Lyra Kira kicks out. Roxanne Perez with a crossface, but Lyra Kira counters and gets to her feet. Lyra Kira with the Nightwing. She goes for the cover and gets the pin. The winner of the match, Lyra Kira. This is a good match for what it was. As Lyra Kira walks to the back. Out comes Raquel Rodriguez, who hits her from behind. She throws Valkyria into the ring and lands a big boot. Roxanne Perez with a kick, followed by a pop rock. Out comes Bayley and Lyra, and out comes Bayley, and she hits Raquel Rodriguez with a forearms. A back suplex onto Roxanne Perez. Bayley throws Raquel Rodriguez shoulder first into the ring post. Bayley with a knee to the face onto Roxanne Perez, followed by a Bayley to belly. The fans chant Bayley, and Bayley looks at Lyra. Bayley stops and smiles. She runs to the outside and hugs Joe Testor and Corey Graves. Bayley hugs Alicia Taylor and begins hugging the fans. And Bayley was hugging the referee as well. That's all I gotta say. Alright, Adam Pearce is backstage with Io Sky and Stephanie Mercury. Adam Pearce makes the match as Stephanie Mercury and Io Sky say they respect each other and they shake hands. In comes the Kabuki Warrior. Stephanie Mercury tells Asuka to get out of her face. Asuka tells her that tonight Stephanie Mercury will face Kairi Sane, and she points at her. Kairi Sane looks surprised. Stephanie Mercury tells Adam Pearce to say it, and Adam Pearce says it's official. Like I said, man, I love Io Sky, but I do not see Io Sky winning at Wrestlepalooza. Stephanie Mercury is going to walk out with the women's world championship at Wrestlepalooza. Watch, I tell you, and I'm calling it straight down the middle. And Asuka is going to cost Io Sky the women's world championship match. So Asuka is going to turn heel on Io Sky. So that's all I gotta say, and I'm calling it straight down the middle. All right. Jimmy Uso is in his locker room, and in comes LA Knight. He tells Jimmy Uso that he chose Jimmy Uso for his tag team match tonight. Jimmy Uso says he doesn't think that's a good play. LA Knight tells him last week Jimmy Uso don't screw him over. Jimmy Uso says he put him in a tough spot. Tonight, LA Knight will have to find someone else. LA Knight tells him tough spot and walks away. Not a bad match between Lyra and Roxanne Perez, but it was all about Bayley after the match. Her hugging everyone is interesting. This could be what she sees right now. Hashtag WWE Raw. So we go to commercial break. So we get the next match. So we get Kofi Kingston accompanied by Xavier Woods and Grayson Waller versus Penta. This was a fun match for what it was. The bell rings. We're underway. Kofi Kingston rolls out of the ring, and Penta chases him around the ring. Kofi Kingston gets in the ring, and so does Penta, who kicks him, and Kofi Kingston falls to the outside of the ring. Penta with a splash over the top rope onto Kofi Kingston. Penta throws Kofi back into the ring. Penta on the ring apron, and as he is jumping, Kofi Kingston lands a drop kick. Grayson Waller gets in Penta's face, but Penta with a right hand. Kofi Kingston on the ring apron, and he kicks Penta in the face. Kofi Kingston on the ring apron, and he lands a false splash onto Penta. So we go to commercial break. Back from commercial break, Penta with the Hurricane followed by a kick to the face. Kofi Kingston down in the corner, and Penta with a corner handstand double kick. He goes for the cover, but Kofi Kingston kicks out. Penta with a chop to the chest, and he goes for the Penta driver, but Kofi Kingston with a rake. He slams Penta onto the mat and goes for the cover, but Penta kicks out. Kofi Kingston climbs the top rope and jumps Penta. Penta moves out of the way. Kofi lands on his feet, and both men kicks in right hands. Penta with a kick to the side of the head. Xavier Woods gets on a ring apron, and that distracts the referee. Grayson Waller gets in the ring, but Penta with a super kick. Kofi Kingston rolls Penta up, but Penta gets out of it. Penta jumps off the second rope and lands a Mexican Destroyer springboard. He goes for the cover, and gets the pin. The winner of the match, Penta. This was a fun match for what it was. We cut to Jey Uso, who is backstage, and he was talking on the phone. In comes Jimmy Uso, and Jey Uso tells him that LA Knight will ask Jimmy Uso to be his tag team partner tonight. He tells Jimmy Uso that he has to say no. Jimmy Uso tells him has to and tells Jey Uso to listen. Jey Uso tells him they have the Bronsons at Wrestlepalooza no matter no matter accepts family. Jimmy Uso tells him that's what he told LA Knight, but he will not take orders from him. Jey Uso tells him that he didn't mean it like that, and Jimmy Uso tells him to change his tone. He tells Jimmy Uso that the last time he checked, there was no Ula Fala around his neck. I believe that Jey Uso is going to turn on Jimmy Uso, but Jimmy Uso, you bet not turn on. Not Jimmy Uso, Jey Uso, you bet not turn on Jimmy Uso. And that's all I gotta say. You bet not do it. Don't do it, please. If that happens, I will crash out. A fun match between Penta and Kofi Kingston. Penta will probably get into a storyline with Dominic Mysterio, but for Kofi Kingston, not sure what they will do with him. Hashtag WWE Raw. So we'll go to commercial break. Back from commercial break, we see Jey Uso and Fenway Parkin throwing out the first pitch at the Boston Red Sox game. We see LA Knight backstage, and in comes Jimmy Uso, who asks LA Knight if he is still looking for a tag partner, and LA Knight tells him that he doesn't want to put him in a tough position. Jimmy Uso tells him that he is in and walks away. Burn it down hits, and out comes Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch. This was a good segment too. Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch stand in the ring as the fan boos. The fans chant CM Punk. Seth Rollins says he was going to say the name of their stupid little town, but instead they want to act like that. He is going to ignore them. Instead, he will address the fans watching on Netflix, and he welcomes them to Monday Night Raws. He says now he gets the honor and privilege of introducing the Women's Intercontinental Champion, a New York Times bestseller at WrestleMania main eventer, the greatest to ever do it, Big Time Bex, the man Becky Lynch freaking lyrics, Becky freaking Lynch. I don't know why I said lyrics, but I do not like Becky's theme song. They should have kept her own theme song. I do not like her new theme song. Her new theme song is terrible. The fans chant AJ Lee. Becky Lynch says she has a lot to say about her, but she won't talk about people behind their back. She is not CM Punk. What she has to say, she will say to her face. Light it up, hits, and out comes AJ Lee and CM Punk. AJ Lee with CM Punk. The fans chant CM Punk, and he says that he is AJ's husband. He is not going to waste their time with a long-winded introduction as who she is. CM Punk says the fans came to see her, and they know her name. The fans chant AJ Lee, and CM Punk asks them who team leader is, who the man is. He says he will begin with Becky Lynch, ladies first. Begins with Becky Lynch, ladies first. CM Punk says he made a career in this company saying things to people faces. He calls them goofs. The fans chant goofs. Seth Rollins says they would know style if he punched them in the face. CM Punk tells them they brag about being the greatest wrestler couple, but they can't get on the same page. They had to listen to a crappy song while he has no problem putting a personality on the shelf and allow AJ Lee to light it up. CM Punk says they share a brain cell and a wardrobe, but can they share a spotless? He asks if they will be a unified point and happy married tag team, or if they will let their egos get in their way. Seth Rollins says CM Punk wants to talk about egos. He calls CM Punk the most selfish human being he has ever met in his entire life. The fans chant, "Shut the F up." Becky Lynch tells them to show her husband some respect. Seth Rollins says he will do something selfish and will hurt him immediately. Seth Rollins says he doesn't want to do it, but he will. He is going to give CM Punk credit. Seth Rollins points to AJ Lee and says, "This is the best decision you have you have ever made in your entire life. In this personal life, the fans chant no one likes him, and Becky Lynch says she likes him. Seth Rollins says they can hate him all they want. He is still the World Heavyweight Champion. CM Punk tells him for now. Seth Rollins tells CM Punk to terms of business, inserting AJ Lee into this. It's a mistake that will regret for the rest of his life, rest of his days. AJ Lee tells Seth Rollins that mistakes was Seth Rollins because she would not be here if he didn't use his own wife as a human shield. Becky Lynch tells AJ Lee that no one believes she was going to come back. She didn't expect her to come back. No one expected her to come back. Becky Lynch says AJ Lee was gone for 10 years, but Becky Lynch says AJ Lee has gone for 10 years, but what she really can't believe is how irresponsible of CM Punk. He cares about CM Punk. Seth Rollins championship and its fairness. He cares about AJ Lee. Becky Lynch says she read her book and has some notes, but last week AJ Lee spoke about how she healed mentally. She asked her how she feels physically, because in her book AJ Lee spoke about the damage to her neck. She asked her how she is feeling. Becky Lynch tells CM Punk he got into a blood feud over a crappy little bracelet with her name on it. She asks him how he will feel when she is plummeting her face in because she is the greatest female wrestler of all time, and it's not just her saying it. Others say it. CM Punk tells her that no one says it. Seth Rollins tells him that he says it's all the time. Becky Lynch says he's not a set. He is a liability. AJ Lee thanks Becky Lynch for reading her book. She did not read Becky Lynch. That part was funny when AJ Lee said that. AJ Lee says that Becky Lynch is right. She made a good point. She does not know how her neck will hold up. The fans chant AJ Lee. AJ Lee it has been 10 years since she took a bump in the ring. She doesn't know what will happen on Wretlepalozza. The same way she didn't know what was going to happen 2 weeks ago. She tells Becky Lynch she wouldn't worry about her neck. She won two titles with her neck. AJ Lee tells Becky Lynch she should be worried that not even she knows what she is going to do next. She is erratic. She is a Puerto Rican from New Jersey. AJ Lee tells Seth Rollins that he made a plan and he used his wife as a backup plan, but he cannot plan for something he couldn't predict. That is facts by AJ Lee. Seth Rollins laughs and he tells AJ Lee that she doesn't think he can handle her. Seth Rollins tells her, "Listen, little girl," and says she is not wrong. He may not be able to predict her, but he can read her husband like a book. He tells AJ Lee that her husband has a nasty habit of leaving when things lay him down. At Wretlepalozza, when his wife rips her into shreds, she better hope that CM Punk does not leave her too. AJ Lee slaps Seth Rollins in the face, and Seth Rollins says he has never put his hands on a lady. Thankfully, he has someone who will. Becky Lynch looks at Seth Rollins, and Seth Rollins looks at Becky Lynch. He points at AJ Lee. Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch argue, and Seth Rollins says this is her fault. Becky Lynch leaves the ring, and she tells him that he got them into this. Seth Rollins turns around and CM Punk is in his face. He shoves CM Punk and leaves the ring. CM Punk chases Seth Rollins around the ring. In comes Becky Lynch, who hits AJ Lee with a manhandle slam. CM Punk gets in the ring in the face, and Becky Lynch tells him that he made a mistake. She slaps CM Punk twice and leaves the ring. Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch laughs and kiss as Becky Lynch moves and hits. Listen, at Wretlepalozza, CM Punk has to give the GTS to Becky Lynch, just like a while back that Baron Corbin gave Becky Lynch the End of Days. So CM Punk, if Baron Corbin can give Becky Lynch the End of Days, that means CM Punk has to give Becky Lynch the GT go to sleep at Wretlepalozza. It's facts, and that's all I gotta say, and that has to happen. But that was a good segment with AJ Lee, CM Punk, Becky Lynch, and Seth Rollins. That's all I gotta say. Byron Saxton is backstage with Dominic Mysterio. He tells him that there has been a lot of talk between him and El Grande Americano. Dominic Mysterio tells him not to worry. He says he is the Mega Intercontinental Champion. We hear hitting and WWE officials running. We see Penta down with Xavier Woods holding a steel chair. In comes the War Raiders, who breaks it up. Another great promo. I wasn't sure what they were doing with Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch arguing, but the ending was good. CM Punk and AJ Lee did well out there too. It was beginning to go long, but they did well. Hashtag WWR, which I agree. That was a good segment. So we go to commercial break. So we get the next match. Dragon Lee versus El Grande Americano. Very good match it was. This match was good too. The bell rings, were underway. Dragon Lee with a drop kick. He backs up Americano with a kick to the face. Americano with right hands. Dragon Lee runs towards Americano and lands Hurricanrana. Dragon Lee gets on the ring apron and jumps, but Americano hits him with a cutter. He goes for the cover, but Dragon Lee kicks out. Americano with a kick to the face. He lands a chop to the chest. Americano on the ring apron, but Dragon Lee with a kick to the face. Dragon Lee jumps over the top rope and lands a Hurricanrana. Dragon Lee with a suicide dive onto Americano. So we go to commercial break. Back from commercial break, Dragon Lee and Americano with chops to the chest. Dragon Lee with a knee to the face, followed by a Tiger Bomb. He goes for the cover, but Americano kicks out. He grabs Americano, but Americano with a hop to the chest. Americano climbs the top rope, but Dragon Lee trips him up. Americano with a trio woe. Dragon Lee climbs to the top rope and land a double stomp. He goes for the cover, but Americano kicks out. Dragon Lee tries to take Americano mask off, but the referee breaks it up. Americano distracts the referee, and another Americano gets on the ring apron, and he hits Dragon Lee. Americano climbs the top rope and slams Dragon Lee onto the mat. He goes for the cover, but Dragon Lee kicks out. AJ Styles runs down to the ring as the second Americano hides under the ring. Joe tells AJ Styles he is under the ring. He goes under the ring, and they both come out from the other side. AJ Styles throws the second Americano over the barricade. AJ Styles walks towards the timekeeper's area, but in comes a third Americano, and he lands a tornado DDT. The second Americano distracts the referee. Dragon Lee climbs the top rope, and the third Americano trips him up off the top rope. Americano gets him into a back submission, and Dragon Lee taps out. The winner of the match, El Grande Americano. This was a good match, man. But there were 3 Americanos out there. But they need to reveal who they are. And that's all I got to say. But there were 3 Americanos right there. Alright. We cut backstage. And Bayley is heard arguing. We hear a slam on the door. And on the outside, Valkyria knocks and she walks in. She sees Bayley sitting on the couch on her phone. Lyra asks her who she was talking to, and Bayley tells her, huh? Lyra thanks her for helping her against the Judgment Day, especially after what she said to her. Bayley thanks Lyra for showing her that idiots still exist. She tells her that Bayley never told her to come in her locker room, she could have been changing. I'm sorry. I love this side of Bayley right here. I love this side of Bayley right here. We cut to Stephanie McCura and Rhea Ripley. She tells Stephanie McCura that if it was her or Io Sky, she wants her to know that she is coming for her. And good luck, Stephanie McCura. Stephanie McCura tells her that she is winning. So Stephanie McCura is winning at Wretlepalozza to become the Women's World Champion. Watch I tell you, and I'm calling it straight down the middle. But like I said earlier, I love Io Sky, but I do not see Io Sky winning because Asuka is going to cause Io Sky the matchup, and Asuka is going to turn heel and attack Io Sky. So this going to start a storyline between Asuka and Io Sky. That's all I gotta say. I can definitely see that happening. A good match between El Grande Americano and Dragon Lee. Having the three Americanos was so good. It reminds me a bit of Evil Doink. Hashtag WWE Raw. Commercial break. So we get the next match. Stephanie McCura versus Kairi Sane accompanied by Asuka. This was another good match that I like right here. The bell rings, we are underway. Both women exchange holds and gets to their feet. Kairi Sane extends her hand for a handshake. They shake hands and Asuka yells in Japanese at ringside. Kairi Sane goes for a right hand, but she is thrown to the ropes and lands a head scissors to stay down. Stephanie McCura gets back to her feet and Kairi Sane with a drop kick. Kairi Sane with a flying forearm. She goes for the cover, but Stephanie McCura kicks out. Stephanie McCura gets on the ring apron and Kairi Sane slides under her. She goes for a powerbomb, but Stephanie McCura holds on the top rope. Stephanie McCura lands a double knees to the face. So we go to commercial break. Back from commercial break, Stephanie McCura with a drop kick followed by a double knees to the face in the corner. Stephanie McCura lifts Kairi Sane up, but Kairi Sane lands on her feet and she hits Stephanie McCura with a forearm. Stephanie McCura down in the corner and Kairi Sane with a forearm to the face. Kairi Sane climbs the top rope and jumps. Stephanie McCura moves out of the way. She lands on her feet and Stephanie McCura with a DDT. She goes for the cover, but Kairi Sane kicks out. Stephanie McCura goes for a suplex, but Kairi Sane reverses it into a DDT. Kairi Sane climbs the top rope, but Stephanie McCura gets to her feet and hits Kairi Sane with a right hand. Stephanie McCura on the second rope, but Stephanie McCura with their right hands. Kairi Sane with a headbutt and Stephanie McCura with a trio roll. Kairi Sane with a double stomp. She goes for the cover, but Stephanie McCura kicks out. Kairi Sane with a right hand, but Stephanie McCura with their right hand. Stephanie McCura with a dragon screw. Kairi Sane rolls to the outside of the ring, and Stephanie McCura climbs to the top rope. Stephanie McCura with a crossbody onto Kairi Sane and Asuka. Stephanie McCura throws Kairi Sane back into the ring, and she lands the devil's kiss. Stephanie McCura with the SBB. She goes for the cover and gets the pin. The winner of the match, Stephanie McCura. This was another good match that I like. Asuka is getting in the ring after the match, but Io Sky music hits and out she runs to the ring. She gets in the middle of Stephanie McCura and Asuka, stopping Asuka. Io Sky and Asuka argue as Asuka leaves the ring. Io Sky turns around and she is face to face with Stephanie McCura. They shake hands in the ring. Alright, let's move on. A video package of Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed airs. They called the Usos the best tag team in history up until now, and the Vision has theme looking up at the lights. Another good match tonight. Stephanie McCura really looks to be the present and the future of the women's division, along with Rhea Ripley, Liv Morgan, Watson Fred, Kairi Sane was sold out there too. Hashtag WWE Raw. Alright. So we go to commercial break. Backstage, back from commercial break, the Kabuki Warriors argue with Io Sky. Backstage, Io Sky says she has to do this by herself. Asuka yells in Japanese and walks away. Like I said it earlier, I love Io Sky, but I do not see Io Sky winning at Wretlepalozza. Stephanie McCura is going to become the Women's World Championship. And I can see Asuka causing Io Sky the matchup. So Asuka is going to turn on Io Sky to start a feud. So Asuka is going to feud against Io Sky when Asuka turns heel against Io Sky. I can definitely see it coming. Alright. But I don't want to see the Kabuki Warriors breaks up. Just like I don't want to see the Street Profits break up. I decided to put that out there. But anyway, back to what I was saying. We cut to the Judgment Day toasting backstage. They toast to Dominic Mysterio on a winning the AAA Mega Championship. Finn Balor tells them to take it easy because Wakara Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez lost tonight. Wakara Rodriguez tells them that they are fine. Finn Balor asks Dominic Mysterio what is going on with El Grande Americano. JD tells Dominic Mysterio that they want to know what is happening. Dominic Mysterio tells them that it is that crazy that maybe El Grande Americano just wants his respect. Finn Balor says it is crazy and next time he need their help, not to go see them. Finn Balor and JD McDonald walk away. In comes Rusev and he tells Dominic Mysterio that he is the next Intercontinental Champion. Oh, it's going to be over for Dominic Mysterio when Rusev takes the Intercontinental Championship off of Dominic Mysterio. I believe it's gonna happen. Alright, so we go to commercial break. So we get the main event of the evening. So we get LA Knight. So we get a tag team match. LA Knight and Jimmy Uso versus Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. This should have been Jay Uso and Jimmy Uso versus Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. That match would have been fine for what it was, but they gave us LA Knight and Jimmy Uso versus Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. And this match right here, this was not a bad main event. It was just decent main event for what it was. But at the end, it was just a rinse and repeat, and that's all I gotta say. The bell rings were underway. Jimmy Uso and Braun Breaker start the match. Braun Breaker to the ropes, and he lands a shoulder tackle. Braun Breaker goes for a right hand, but Jimmy Uso with the right hand, followed by a chop to the chest. Jimmy Uso to the ropes, and he lands a spinning back elbow. Braun Breaker back to his feet, and he clotheslines Jimmy Uso. Braun Breaker throws Jimmy Uso in the corner, and Bronson Reed is tagged in. Bronson Reed lifts Jimmy Uso up, but Jimmy Uso lands on his feet, and Jimmy Uso with the kick to the side of the head. LA Knight is tagged in. LA Knight with their right hands. LA Knight goes for a suplex, but Bronson Reed blocks it. Bronson Reed with an elbow to the face. He runs towards LA Knight, but LA Knight trips him up into the corner. LA Knight with kicks in the corner, followed by a running knee to the face. Jimmy Uso is tagged in, and he lands a hip attack. In comes Braun Breaker, and they clothesline him to the outside of the ring. So we go to the commercial break. Back from commercial break, Bronson Reed and Jimmy Uso are in the ring. Bronson Reed tags Braun Breaker into the ring. Braun Breaker with the back suplex. He goes for the cover, but Braun Breaker lets go and does push-ups. In comes LA Knight from behind, who kicks Braun Breaker, but the referee breaks it up. Braun Breaker places Jimmy Uso on the top rope. Braun Breaker goes for a suplex, but Jimmy Uso with right hand, and he knocks Braun Breaker down. Jimmy Uso goes for a tag, but Braun Breaker grabs Jimmy Uso's arm, and he throws Jimmy Uso with a back body drop. Bronson Reed is tagged in, and he lands a body slam. Bronson Reed goes for a senton, but Jimmy Uso moves out of the way. Jimmy Uso climbed the top rope, and he landed a whisper in the wind, courtesy of Jeff Hardy. LA Knight is tagged in as Braun Breaker. LA Knight with a clothesline, and he knocks Bronson Reed off the ring apron. LA Knight with a neck breaker onto Braun Breaker. He grabs Braun Breaker, but Braun Breaker with a knee to the face, and Bronson Reed tags in. LA Knight with a clothesline followed by a reverse DDT. LA Knight climbs the top rope. Jimmy Uso tags himself in. LA Knight with a leaping elbow. Jimmy Uso with the Uso splash. He goes for the cover, but Braun Breaker breaks it up. LA Knight clotheslines Braun Breaker to the outside, and Jimmy Uso throws Bronson Reed towards the outside. Jimmy Uso goes for a suicide dive, but Bronson Reed with a right hand. He throws Jimmy Uso back into the ring. LA Knight with a leaping clothesline off the ring steps onto Bronson Reed. He throws Bronson Reed back into the ring. Jimmy Uso with a super kick followed by a spear. Jimmy Uso climbs the top rope, and Braun Breaker with a flying shoulder tackle onto LA Knight. On the outside of the ring, Braun Breaker trips Jimmy Uso up. Braun Breaker trips Jimmy Uso up on the top rope, and Bronson Reed with a jagged edge. He goes for the cover and gets the pin. The winner of the match, Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. This main event was a decent match for what it was. Braun Breaker hits Jimmy Uso with the spear after the match. Jey Uso music hits, and out he comes to the ring with a steel chair. He hits Braun Breaker with it, and he gets in the ring. Bronson Reed punches the chair, and Jey Uso with right hands. Jey Uso hits Bronson Reed with a steel chair, and Bronson Reed falls to the outside of the ring. Jey Uso drops the chair, and LA Knight grabs it, and he stands behind Jey Uso. And as Jey Uso turns around, LA Knight looks at him, and it looks at him with the chair, and he throws the chair. Jey Uso extends his hand, and LA Knight shakes his hand. They hug, and as Jey Uso turns around, LA Knight hits him with a BFT. LA Knight leaves the ring as Raw goes off the air. Not a bad main event. Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed are a lot better without Seth Rollins, which is I agree with that. That's facts by itself. They can actually be tag team champions, and should be too. LA Knight attacking Jey Uso at the end was the right thing. Hashtag WWE Raw. And I know that Jey Uso is going to get his get back on LA Knight. I can already tell. It says a fun hashtag WWE Raw that started an hour earlier. It was all about Wretlepalozza, and they did a good job, which is I agree with that. And then we read the quick results. Then we read the quick match results. Lyra defeated Roxanne Perez, which is a good match. Penta defeated Kofi Kingston, which is also a good match as well too. El Grande Americano defeated Dragon Lee, a good match. Stephanie Mercury defeated Kairi Sane, a good match. Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed defeated LA Knight and Jimmy Uso, which is in the main event. That main event match was decent. And WWE Raw goes off the air. But anyway, if you guys enjoy my WWE Raw review on highlights, make sure you guys please watch the video from all the way from the beginning all towards the end. Hit that like button, subscribe to my channel for more wrestling content I do on the channel. I'm on the road to 11K along with my watch time hours. Oh yeah, let me give my honest opinion what I think about WWE Raw. Now, WWE Raw was a good show for what it was, but the ending was just a rinse and repeat, and that's all I gotta say from here. But shout out to Showstopper TV for going live on YouTube, and that's all I gotta say. And Showstopper TV will be going live on Twitch tomorrow, and that's all I gotta say from here. It is what it is, man. So yeah, and yeah, man. Thank you guys so much for coming to my live stream on Twitch last week Tuesday, and that's all I gotta say from here. But and yeah, and I will see you guys tomorrow for my WWE NXT review on highlights. I want you guys to have a great night. Stay safe and always stay positive. Kept your crew, kept your kings, kept your club. Too sweet. I'm out of here. Gang. Mwah. Bang. Too sweet. Gang.